Okay, so I'll go back again. Okay, so allow me to welcome our next great speaker, Ambassador Dr. Mercy Ogbe from Nigeria, and a self-motivated, experienced educationist, industrialist, as well as critical, creative, and reflective thinker and developer. An excellent communicator and motivator with great passion to impart and enhance higher thinking skills, to develop the minds of youth as adults. A prime mover with strong personality and character, adventurous, analytical, collaborative, diplomatic, and very goal director. She has written so many books, but I'll just pick up a few of them. 75 hints to improve your critical thinking practice. Basic forms and uses of English grammar. Learn to read and write the alphabet. And why would you die? That's a booklet. And if the foundation be destroyed. If the foundation be destroyed. That is another book. She is also, Ambassador Dr. Mercy is also the member of International Association of World Peace Advocates. She is the fellow of Institute of Human and Natural Resources, IHNR. She's the fellow, the Institute of Human Resources, Institute of Registered Administrative Managers of Nigeria, and also the conference facilitator and workshop presenter. She is also the member of Foundation for Critical Thinking in USA. Members of National Council of Exceptional Children, NCEC. Okay. So furthermore, she's the proprietor of Victory School of Science and Creativity at Sapele. She is the founder and president of Center for Critical and Creative Thinking Development in Africa, CCTDA. She's also the Young Critical and Creative Thinkers and Researcher Club, YYCI. She is the Thinker Skills Limit. She has a Thinker Skills Limited, higher thinking skills, developers, and educational consultants and industrialist, chairman and MD, and also Danny Product and Investment Limited. She is the producer of Danny Liquid Detergent, and also Danny Royal Bath Liquid Soap, and multi-purpose liquid soap, Danny Kitchen, and many, many more. She has a ministry, and she's the founder and president general of Ladies of Vision International, LOVA. She trains young ladies to become future idea homemakers, virtuous, chaste, self-confidence, self-reliance, patriotic, with love and respect for God, self, and humanity, and also restore the dignity of womanhood within and outside the country. That is amazing, amazing, amazing. And she has award of scholarship throughout the year of study to all pastors' children who attended Victory School of Science and Creativity at Sapele. I wish I lived there. Up till 90, from 1990 till today. So, and also to orphans who've attended Victory School of Science and Creativity, Sapele, from 1990 till today. So, allow me now to welcome Ambassador Professor Dr. Mercy Ogbe from Nigeria, as she share a wealth of wisdom and knowledge, and be ready for your questions so that she'll be able to give you the right information so that you can store into your mindset. Remember, she's the expert expertise in critical and creative thinking. So prepare your mind, listen carefully as she shared with us today, and be ready for your questions. So, Madam Professor Dr. Mercy Ogbe, the stage is yours, or the platform is yours.
Thank you, Professor. I appreciate you for your coordination so far. I must say that it has been wonderful working with you. I want to say that I appreciate the last speaker, and it has actually made my work easier, simpler, because a lot of the things he mentioned are equally related to my topic. So he has done good work. We are all aware that
By the way, before you start your message, your teaching today, I must say that you're looking good.
thank you.
You're looking good in
Thank
your pinky, flowery. I hope you give us also another one tomorrow, the Valentine's Day. Okay, you can
okay,
continue. I just
thank
want
you
to
very much.
comment on that. Yes.
Yeah, our theme since last week has been transforming relationships, and it's a wonderful topic because relationship is a term that has made some people and unmade some others. It has made some happy and it has made some others very unhappy. It has even made some people to go and commit suicide. So when this topic came up, and I was privileged to be part of those to discuss it, I felt very happy and privileged. So my topic today is transforming relationship in marriage, the important role of critical and creative thinking. Last week, 2 days, we discussed at length transformation. We discussed relationship generally, and then we discussed transforming relationship in work, in leadership. Some of these ones will still come up by tomorrow. Now, today we are going to dwell on how you can apply critical and creative thinking to the activities of your marriage so that there can be a change, a transformation in your marriage. Now, I want to introduce this topic of today by saying, though I've given you a lot of definitions about transformation, last week I told you it is a word that emanated from God because God started the work of transformation. He transformed what was void of any shape, of anything we see today. He looked at the whole world and he saw absolute darkness, formless, and he started the work of transformation. He said, it can't be like this. It cannot remain like this. Until we start using it cannot remain like this, then we may not have kickstarted the work of transformation. So to start transformation, we must see the need. A need must be established. So transformation, as seen by Ogbe in this talk today, is the outcome of the reactions to the totality of our experiences through formal and informal learning. May I explain that more clearly? For every transformation to take place, as I've just said, there must be a need. And that need is orchestrated by the reaction towards that thing that what to bring about the transformation. In this case, you have been listening to talks. Somebody has just given one, Professor Akpabio has just given one. Since last week, people have been listening. What has been your reactions to these discussions? It is the reaction you have given to these discussions that will bring about your transformation. So the reactions to the totality of your experiences emanate from what you have heard, what you have seen, all that you have been privileged to accumulate. These are your experiences. And your experiences can come from the classroom, it can come from the kitchen, it can come from the bedroom, it can come from anywhere. And whatever your reactions to what you see, what you feel, what you touch, what you smell, what you have listened to, it is that totality of that experience and your reaction to it that brings about the transformation. Transformation is a change of mindset that had influenced the way you behaved. Every behavior you have ever exhibited, there is a mindset that is fueling it, that is propelling it. And if you are going to talk about transformation, then that mindset must shift ground, must shift goalpost. It cannot remain there because it will stand as an obstacle to transformation. So if transformation is going to take place, that mindset must be dealt with. And it can only be dealt with because you have reacted positively to all the talks, to all that you have heard, to all that you have seen. So we can be transformed only if we see the need, if only we accept what we are being told, if only we accept what we have seen or heard, that it is needful, it is important, it is welcome to us. So transformation is a change of mindset that had influenced the way you behaved. Remember, I'm putting it in the past tense. You behaved, because it could be different story from now on. The process of transformation must be kickstarted, triggered by your reaction to what you see, hear, taste, touch, feel, or smell. If the reaction is repulsive to the topic, as in this case, learning won't take place. And when there is no learning, there can't be transformation. I say that when there is no learning, there can't be transformation. I haven't done justice to that transformation. I want to move on to relationship. Last week also till now, and even the previous speaker has defined relationship, has spoken so much about relationship. So just in a sentence, I will say relationship is a particular connection, because we have been made to realize that relationship is a connection, a connection. There is a connecting rod. There is a connecting rod. So that connection between two or more persons is what we call relationship. And that connection brings about a lot of things in this life. It can help us to achieve so much, and it can also make us not to achieve if the relationship is a soured one. If it is positive, fine. We bless the day God brought us into this world. But where it is not, we curse the day we came into this world. So now we are talking of transforming relationship, breaking the mindset that ever made certain things not to work in our marriage. Those reactions that didn't allow peace and love to travail in marriage. That is what we want to talk about as it relates to the way we think. The way we think. So first of all, marriage is a very intimate connection undertaken by two opposite sex partners with an agreed goal. We said last week that there cannot be a relationship without a specific goal. It's objective, it's goal-oriented. Every relationship is goal-oriented. So if that goal is not being pursued, the relationship may become soured, it may become boring, and you see the people falling apart. Two people who said they love themselves before they start fighting and they start falling apart. Even some go to the extent of killing one another. That is how bad, the goal has been defeated. I don't think any two persons want to go into a marriage only to kill themselves. So if the goal is not being attained, it leads to trouble. So marriage is a very intimate connection undertaken by two opposite sex partners with an agreed goal to be totally naked to each other in making love, sharing wealth, experiences, and probably agreeing towards procreation of children. I use the word probably because there are some couples who just want to be married to one another and enjoy themselves. They don't want to procreate children. They don't want to have children. So I use the word probably. But 90% of couples want to have children because it's God's fulfillment. That is the way God has made it to populate the world. So you can be a procreator as a joint partner with God in developing the world by having a robust marriage that will lead to the bringing forth of children. And as affirmed by Jesus Christ in the Bible, marriage is a God-ordained covenant relationship between a man and a woman. This lifelong sexually exclusive relationship brings children into the world and thus sustain the stewardship of propagation. And then the Bible describes marriage as God's institution. An institution is a place of learning. And I think the former speaker mentioned that it is an institution where lives are molded. Means of having children, it is a means of having children, and it is a means of sexual love. You have heard that several times, and you can find that from Proverbs 5:18. It's honorable for all permanent bonds. It is honorable for all permanent bonds and is worthy of Jesus' presence. They normally sing the song, with Jesus in the family, it is a happy, happy home. But when Jesus is absent from the family, it is sorrow, sadness, pain, fight, quarrel everywhere. Because Jesus is peace. If you have Jesus and you meet a partner of peace, peace plus peace will give you peace, more peace. So, and this marriage can only be dissolved by death. That is what the Bible prescribes. Though man today is prescribing divorce. If it's not working, let's go our way. If it's not working, let's go our way. Man is not ready to make effort. This is the essence of this lectures we are giving this time. Is there hope for a failing marriage? Is there hope for a marriage that seems not to know its goal any longer or not achieving its goal? Is there hope for them? Yes, there is hope. And like the platform we are using, yes, you can make transformation in your marriage. It can work again. It can start afresh. So don't think, oh, we've stayed 20 years, we've stayed 30 years. Even some people still divorce after they've stayed 40, 50 years in marriage. They still divorce. That is why the Bible says it's an institution. You need to learn. There is no passing out. There is no graduation in marriage. Even with the speakers today, we can't say we've graduated. We are still in the process of learning one from another. So it can only be dissolved by death, according to Romans 7, 2-3. So if it can be dissolved only by death as prescribed by the Bible, then we must do something to make sure that the remaining years we need to live, there is worth living and is lived happily with our partners. Many people are struggling. Many marriages are struggling to survive. Many people, because of the position they occupy in the church, they are actually bearing and enduring marriage and not, living a love affair. It's supposed to be a love affair in marriage. It's unfortunate that almost 70% of marriages are below standard, below God's prescription. So God designed marriage for some main purposes. Number one, companionship. You have to have a companion. So you can't be one single person and you say you have a relationship. No, there must be a companion, a partner. And he also design marriage for the procreation. And we can say further that without these two, there can't even be redemption, because you have to procreate, you have to have children who will know the Lord Jesus Christ and be saved. So these purposes are still relevant today and are essential for healthy society. It takes a closer look at each other. As we live in our marital homes, how do we look at the purposes of God? I said every relationship has a goal. How do we look at the purposes of God? Now, first of all, let us try to see what the qualities of a good marriage ought to be. You have heard so much from the last speaker, but let's still look at it from the point of view of the critical and creative thinker. I have told you the word thinking is even there in the Bible. In Prof, it says, as you think, so you are. A man is what he thinketh. And we remember I mentioned Genesis chapter 13, 14-17, when God told Abraham that as far as you can see, I will give to you, which is to say, what you really desire most in your heart, you will have it. That which you desire, God will give to you. The full, I must say that many one self-centered, and he sees every, and the other tries to make it work, but it doesn't work. The centrality of the other person. But it takes two totally. It takes two to tango. So if there are no two, if there is a gap, don't forget that in relationship, there is a connection, there is a rod. By the time this rod begins to give way, it's like two things being tied together with a string. If the string begin to give away, losing up, current that held the two. First of all, let's look at what can make, what is marriage? We've seen it. And what should be the qualities of a good marriage? Though we've heard, but let us our own point of view. One, I put number one as communication. In quiet and you go your way, nobody talks to you, you don't talk to people. Yes, it's possible. But is that possible in marriage? What is communication? Communication is imparting your something you desire. You say it as I'm talking to you. You can't hear me say what, but you can see eyes or hand or just any gesture. So it can be non-verbal and it can be interpersonal. It has to be interpersonal. And so you want to pass to the other person through communication. Hear that marriage is about talking. There must be a talking one to another. So don't tell me you are so quiet in the into your bathroom, you are so quiet. You carry your portfolio, you want to go to work, you don't even ask your wife, how was your sleep? How is it? Is there anything for breakfast? You go to office, you sit quietly, you are the boss or you are a manager or one thing, you do your work, you come back. The only sound that we hear is the sound of your car coming and the gate is open, you walk in, your wife will tell you welcome, you nod your head. That is not marriage. A time will soon come when the woman will get tired. Or you are in a relationship where your only answer you can give is yes or no. It doesn't work like that. Rather, communication is the foundation of any successful relationship. Any successful marriage is built on communication. Your ability to impart yourself in the other person. There was a time God ministered to me. I was just alone. And he said, the mystery of marriage is that the husband pours himself into the woman. The man pours himself into the woman. And I said, wow, that was a great revelation. And what does that mean? It is your totality, the totality of you being given to the man. Your totality of you as a man, what you think, what you feel, what you share, what is dear to you, all that makes you who you are, you pour it into the woman. Out of this pouring, the woman makes up herself to fit into your image. He makes up herself to fit into your image. Don't forget, God is involved. And out of this pouring in, the children are also made out. And that is why they can take your resemblance and take the resemblance of the woman equally. So there is a mixture. We are not just talking of only the semen that goes in. We are going beyond that level. We are going beyond the spiritual aspect of the man and even the physical aspect of the man going into the woman. But how does it start? Through communication. That is why you can tell the woman, I love you. The woman can also respond, I love you. That is communication. Communication that is not verbal is even more either destructive or abuse more, because it speaks louder than the voice. Non-verbal communication speaks louder than the voice. For instance, your wife is cooking in the kitchen, you just quietly walk to her, embrace her, and give her a peck from behind. Her mind will just go, there is peace, there is love. She smiles to herself. You didn't say one word, but you've communicated to her. Or you are talking to your wife, she now sighs or looks at you from head to toe and sigh and, and toss herself around and walk away. She didn't say a word, but she has communicated. And that communication can make some men go and slap the woman and beat her up. But the woman didn't say a word. The nature of food that is served on the table is a non-verbal communication. It shows how much the woman respects the man. The food, the way it is cooked and the way it's served is an indication of love or in the absence of love. So this communication comes in diverse form. And this is where critical thinking comes in. Critical thinking, we look at the feelings, the desires, the needs, and we ask the individual the question, all this I have within me, am I communicating them to my husband? Am I communicating them to my wife? Some people just feel it's a matter of the verbal communication of, oh, I love you, or you are beautiful. It goes beyond that. I want to say it clearly to every married man, and the unmarried ones learn from this. Your non-verbal communication, they build up the marriage more than the verbal communication. Verbal is great. Verbal, knows how to complement the non-verbal. But I tell you, what brings transformation more appropriately is even the non-verbal. Some may agree with me, some may not agree. So communication helps decrease the stress level in a home. If people are not communicating, you will be surprised that they will not share their burdens. They will not feel each other. And so they begin to amass stress. And anger and upset comes in. So before one will talk, say, please, I'm very tired, leave me alone. Before the other one will talk, don't you have some common sense to know that I'm not in the mood? It is, all these are the outbursts of stress. But where good communication exists, where people can impart one another with the feeling of their thought in a loving way. Don't say because your wife is not learned and you are learned, you've got to university, you are a degree holder and your wife is not a degree holder, then you can talk to your wife the way you like, shout on her, and make her feel very useless. Like somebody said, she's just your partner in the other room. No, she's not a vessel. She's not a plate. She's not a cup. She is your fellow human being. And the last person spoke on that. I dwell so much on communication because it is one of the critical thinking thing we must talk about. When I get there, I will dwell on it. So let's go faster. Every good marriage needs respect. They exhibit respect for one another, trust, ability to believe in each other, believe in the experiences that this person has, that it can be positive to you, it can be positive in building your home, and so on. Commitment Commitment is very important. If there is good passing of information, there must be commitment to one another. You will enjoy yourself. You will want to hear your partner talk because you can laugh. It can make you laugh. It can make you smile. Then love, affection, intimacy, which our partner has also mentioned, which is sex. There cannot be absence of sex, maybe once in a week, or some people once in a month, and even some people in years, they've not had any intimacy. And you think it can work. You think it can work? These are some of the things that push men or women to look for somebody elsewhere, though this is not advisable. This is against the scriptural injunctions. So in a good marriage, you need to increase your love-making time. You need to nurture your fondness and admiration, as we've heard before. You need to turn towards each other. Some on the bed, the man is facing north, the woman is facing south. They hardly meet, though they sleep on the same bed. So that is not good, and it will break the marriage. There is no influence, no positive influence in some marriages. You need to allow your husband to teach you what you don't know in the marriage. That is part of communication. You need to allow your wife to teach you what you don't know in the marriage, because you are coming from two different backgrounds. What the man may have learned from his own background is not what you have learned from your own background. But as you meet, let what you learned from your background and what he learned merge together and be refined. Because it's not everything you learned that was good. Like maybe the man learned how the father used to beat the mother. When you come to marry, you don't carry that down. And the woman learned how the father was so friendly to the mother. They eat together, they laugh together, they run around together. Yes, that is good. So when you come, share with one another, using the Bible as your yardstick. And then during the time of lovemaking is not the time for complaint, telling the wrong story, how bad it was in the office, how this child in the house has been stubborn, how there is no money to cook the food, how the car disappointed throughout the day and gave you stress. All these things are against a good, a successful marriage. Love-making time is love-making time. Release yourself one to another and enjoy yourself to the fullest. Show empathy. You have heard that. Empathy is putting yourself in the place of your husband and the husband putting himself in your shoe. Don't say this is my wife's work and this is my husband's work. Nobody has any work. Read through from Genesis to Revelation. There is no page where you will see God said you should, the woman should cook the food, while the man should sit in the parlor to read the newspapers. Nowhere. They are to love and to bear children. And these two, they work together. One person cannot do it. So just as one person cannot do the work of loving and the work of bearing children, so in every other type of activities, relationship, one person should not do it. The activities of the home, one person should not do it. If the woman can sweep, the man can also sweep. If the woman can cook, the man can also cook. If the woman can go to the market, nothing stops the man from going to the market. Don't demarcate, say this is for the man and this is for the woman. Although by the strength we possess, physical strength we possess, we might be able to say, oh, let my husband help me in this, or let my wife help me in this, because of the complexity of the way God has created us. And then let us be friendly in our marriages. Then we are now going to look at how critical thinking comes into the transformating process of the relationship. Now, we have known that transformation is a process. It's a process which starts by the or triggered off by the reactions to our daily experiences. Now, you know, if you have a wife who is intelligent, she's likely to be asking you lots of questions. And first of all, inquisitiveness is one of the characteristics of critical thinking. A critical thinker is inquisitive. Inquisitiveness is the skill of wanting to know everything around you. You don't want to be a novice to your environment, so you want to know everything. So you want to know your husband. You want to know what he likes and what he doesn't like. So a critical thinker goes further to start asking questions and questions in order to generate answers to those inquisitive questions. So as a result of that, there can be no thinking. I want you to take this in. There can be no thinking without questioning. Without questioning, no thinking can start. This is something I can prove to you, maybe not today because it will take me some time. But what do I mean by saying you must ask a question to kickstart thinking? If not, sit where you are, just make your mind blank and see whether you are thinking. You are not thinking. As long as you are there blank, you are not thinking. But the moment something other passed, or your eyes fell on something, or you heard a noise, you will ask, what is that? Or what have I just seen? What made that noise? And because of that question, your thinking is activated, is triggered. And so you begin to ask more questions. You begin to put on the activities of the sensory organs. You begin to observe. Who passed? You observed with your eyes. What did I hear? You observed with your ears. How does it feel? You observe with your feeling, with your touch. So you must be inquisitive in your marriage. Don't be a dumb in your marriage. Your husband will not even like you when you are a dumb. Your wife will not like you. You will just feel that you are not intelligent. I'm not saying that critical thinking and intelligence are the same thing. No, they are two different things. But what I'm trying to say is that you have to be involved. Inquisitiveness will make you to be involved. That is critical thinking. And in critical thinking, you are involved in questioning because something is not happening the way it should be, or something is happening that you do not understand. So you ask questions to gain, experience, so bring in your experience into the situation. So the next thing is that observation. Observation is one of the earliest critical thinking skills we need to learn. You must be observant as a woman in particular, because you are most of the time in the house. Observe your husband's mood. Know what makes him happy, what makes him not to be happy. Observe your children's mood, even your personal mood. Observe it. That is intra. Observe it, and then know how your mood is affecting the others in the house. Know how the husband's mood is affecting others in the house. Observe the kind of food you cook that your family enjoys more. Your observation will make you to know that, oh, these chairs have been in this form for 1 year now. Can't I change the position of the chairs in the parlor? Can't I put this television set in another position? Can't I change the arrangement of the bedroom? Before your husband comes, the arrangement has been perfected in a new way. He sees a new room with new bed sheets and all that. Where his shoes are usually kept, they are no more there. They have been given a new position. So observation in the home is one of the critical thinking skills every couple must imbibe, must learn to use in the home. Careful observation includes our ability to document details and to collect data through our senses. Our observations will eventually lead to insights. It will give you insight to a lot of things in your home, make you to develop your home better, even your workplace, and a deeper understanding of the world. Observation will make you to be unique. You are smart. Anywhere you go with your husband, you will know when your husband tie shifts to the side instead of being at the right place. And you quickly say, honey, let me help you with it. But if you are not observant, your husband can even wear his trouser, follow you out, but the zip is not zipped. The trouser is not zipped. And he goes and those who are observant are seeing it and laughing. They can't talk. But you, the wife that followed him from the house to outside and back, you didn't see it. Maybe not until somebody will come and whisper to your ear, please tell your husband to zip up. You see, it is a big shame on the part of the woman for that to happen. Or the man, you can't observe your wife. Your wife goes to the salon, makes her hair, comes back. There is no word from you to say, I like your hairdo. No word. The woman will walk past you and walk out. You can't say to your wife, I like it. No, that dampens the woman. It creates an impression in the woman that my husband does not care about me. He does not observe me. If your husband does not observe you, your wife does not observe you, you are of all people most miserable. Because the first person who should observe you is your partner. Your relationship demands that he should observe you. So you can see observation, communication, that they are very important. Now, communication in critical thinking is the main center word for critical thinking. What is critical thinking? It is the ability to gather facts, to gather information. It is information you want to pass out. It is the information you want to give to your partner. Your ability to gather the right information, the authentic information, the ability to gather this fact and then analyze them, break them down so that you know the reality of this facts, this information. You know how genuine they are, how important they will build your home, build your children. Now, let me just tell you something. I know in the world of today, you can say anything anywhere. Like we are on media now, we are talking, we are measuring sex and others. But where the children are in the home, you, father, mother, you are there. Can the imam be telling the wife, oh my dear, I want to have sex with you right now? And your children are there. Can you do it? You can't do it because it is not the appropriate space. It is not the right time to do that. So communication experts, it look at the totality of the ability of that information to build the life you want to pass the information to. If your wife, I watched a film where three children owned by a woman, they waited, she was about going out with a mini dress, almost half naked. And the three children who have never sanctioned this kind of dressing from their mother, they tricked her to the booth side as if she wants to take something. And, you know, they disgraced her with that dress and poured water on her, started throwing things at her so that she can't go out. And they were all complaining. That is their way of communication. The dress alone was a means of communication. And it didn't go down well with the children. So they were asking the woman, are you a prostitute? Why should you be wearing this kind of mini dress? Don't you know you are a married woman? You see, so communication in critical thinking is so central to the entire world. A lot of the problems we are having today in the world, they are the result of faulty communication, faulty analysis, not speaking the truth one to another. Do you speak the truth to your wife? Do you speak the truth to your husband? There are some people, once they see their partner, they fear sickness. They start feeling, making the partner to feel sorrowful, painful, and, you know, you are living a gap. Life of pretense is not a good communication in a family. So critical thinking is the tool we use to coherently build our thoughts and express this thought through communication. Critical thinking relies on following somebody's thought, your husband's thought, your wife's thought, the children's thought process, and the line of reasoning, and trying to understand this reasoning. How are they reasoning? This thing the man is saying about the situation of Nigeria, is the reasoning okay? What about how he talks about his pastor? Is it okay? What of the man who says the children are to be only to be seen and not to be heard? So in fact, they are not even to be heard. Once a visitor is coming, they will say, go to your room, go to your room, go to your room. What are they? Are you ashamed of the children? A man who will sleep with the wife cannot embrace the wife, cannot touch the wife lovingly. Even if the wife feels tired, there is a way you can touch your wife, and that tiredness will go and the woman will yield to you. The way it is for the woman, so it is for the man. That is communication. Then the questioning comes in. That is critical thinking. Am I communicating effectively in my marriage? Have I been able to communicate when I really need my husband in bed? Should it be only in bed I should need my husband? Can I not need him when two of us are alone in the sitting room? Can I not sit on his lap? Can I not give him a kiss? Can I kiss my husband or my wife in the presence of the children? Is it a wrong thing? All these are critical thinking questions. How does my wife communicate with my family, and how do I communicate with her family? These are critical thinking questions that must be settled. And I must say that in most cases, it is good that the two partners sit down, communicate these things, what they feel, resolve them, and work with them, form them into their own objectives, their own goals, and let them move on with that. I've told you about being analytical. Critical thinking is analytical. It breaks everything that is happening in the home down and asks the pertinent questions. Questions must always be asked in the family. So it is the ability to analyze information, and that is the key when looking at anything that is important, whether it is a contract report, even how to send the children to school, what food to cook. Analyzing these issues are very important in a home. Should it be bread and tea and egg in the morning. Will you like that? Not only the woman asking the man, discuss it. Discuss it, not only your will. So break down what you see, whether it is right. The dressing of your husband to office, is it right? How the children go to school, is it right? All that is critical thinking. And then I told you that it is subjective. Objectivity is that there is a direction it must follow. There is a place you are going to achieve your end result. How will your behaviors at home in marriage achieve the expected result of a healthy marriage? Is your marriage healthy? That's a critical thinking question I'm asking you. Who is watching me right now? Is your marriage healthy? Is it an interesting marriage? If you can't say yes to this question, you know there is a question mark. And critical thinking helps you to identify the problems in the marriage and hand them over to creative thinking that will generate the right ideas, multiple ideas that will bring solution to those problems. That is the relationship between the critical thinking in a home and the creative thinking in a home. Critical thinking will always ask the question, is this thing good? Is it right? Can I not do it in a different way? Then creative thinking will say, yes, you can do it in a different way. You can do it outside the normal way, outside the box. You can do it in this pattern. There can be innovation in the home. Yes, before your husband comes, you've changed the curtains. You've rearranged the house. That is creative thinking. Yes, what am I going to cook for my husband that will make him so happy, so excited today? That is creative thinking. So creative thinking will help you to generate the right ideas. Think of innovation. Think of a better way to do it, a better way to talk to your husband, to reply to your neighbors, to reply to your mother-in-law, to your father-in-law, to your brothers and sister-in-laws when they come and they want to foment trouble. How do you respond? Curiosity will help you to want to find that. It is like inquisitiveness. And again, open-mindedness is another key skill of critical thinking, just as curiosity, just as inquisitiveness. Open-mindedness shows that, you know, in my definition, I said, definition of marriage, I say it is a relationship that where the man, two partners, the man and the woman, they are naked before each other. That means they have nothing to hide. I feel ashamed for a marriage where a man cannot go naked before the wife, or a wife cannot go naked before the husband. You want to wear dress. You want to go to bathroom to bathe. You can't bathe with your wife, or you can't bathe with your husband. You come out from the bathroom, you want to dress. You will tell your wife, please, I want to dress. Give me chance. What are you hiding? And such relationship, it may be funny to note that they've even had children, which means during sex, you are tying cloths and battling with cloths and battling with your partner. That is wrong. It's very sad that you can hide yourself from your partner. It's very, very sad. That cannot make for any peaceful relationship. So open-mindedness shows complete nakedness. We are not talking of just the physical nakedness, but we are talking of your temperament, make them known. Who you are on the inside, be honest enough to make them known. I'm weak in this point and I'm weak in that point. I will soon round up because I know our host has a place to go. Now, you also have to be logical in your relationship. Logical is applying wisdom, deep sense. And that is one of the skills of critical thinking. You have to also try to identify biases. Identify biases, and as I said, demand for clarity. Most people, they are coded in what they say. A man wants to be coded so that he cannot be understood. And when you catch the man red-handed, you say, that is not what I meant. You catch the woman red-handed, that is not what I meant. You must be clear in whatever communication aspect you are dealing with. In any way you are making your points clear, and be precise and authentic. Don't be fake. Learn to draw a useful conclusion in your home, inference. All these things I'm mentioning, they are skills in critical thinking. But like as I said, and I would like to round up with that, is that in critical thinking, if the critical thinking is available in the home, you will want to ask pertinent questions, questions that are relevant to making a particular situation to be transformed, that will make the relationship to be sealed. You will not hide yourself. You will not be skeptical. To be skeptical is always afraid. Eh? You are not open. When you are not open-minded, you become more skeptical. So learn to explain situation to your partner as they truly are. Don't hide. Question things that need to be questioned. Why did you do this? This is what you said that day. Why did you say it? It is not because you want to find a fault, but because you want to find solution. You want to find explanation. You want to make for clarity. And so I want to say that in all of our marriage being, in our marriage relationship, we must bring in a lot of critical thinking skills to play in the home, and creative thinking that will transform everything we do, that will generate new businesses. Oh, my husband has just been dropped from work. What do I do? You don't have to change your attitude because your husband is dropped from work. Think of a better way of generating fund and involving him that will generate fund for the family. Some men will take a lot of time soliloquizing and crying over speed milk. No. See, let me tell you something that goes wrong in some home. And it is more with men. They don't like to admit the strength of their wife. If you don't have the kind of strength and grace and wisdom, let me put those things, a business acumen that your wife has, why don't you align with her? It is still you she will glorify. Don't separate yourself. This is for my wife. This is her own. This is my own. A life of this is her own, this is my own can never bring a good relationship to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to stop here right now because I can continue even till the next 1 hour. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope I've done some justice to it. God bless you. Is our host still around?
I am still here,
Am I
fully.
being heard?
Yes, you are okay. You are okay. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Well, I've learned a lot, and I believe that many of us on this platform have learned a lot. So let's see how we can see. Any questions, please? We need questions so that we can move on and move on and move on. I believe it's well explanatory as I am concerned, because I mean, you really broke a lot of things because I was curious. I wanted to know about how this creativity thinking and critical how can you apply it to the relationship and marriage? I've been thinking about that, so I was so anxious to want to know. See my notes, and I'm really, I've been learned a lot today. Thank you so much, ma'am. Any question? Are you shy enough giving question? Let's see. Ambassador Olorunba, any questions, sir? Ambassador Stephen Davidson, Dr. Samina, Ambassador Emmanuel, Ambassador Lukman, Honorable Paul, and my wonderful Titus, and also Sister Christiana. Right, any question at all? Yes, sir. Ambassador Ade Natil. We can't hear you, sir. Can you unmute yourself? We can't hear you. Right, okay, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm grateful to be privileged to listen to the last speaker that happens to be my mentor in critical thinking.
Wow, wow, wow.
I've had her so many times, and I used to tell her anytime she wants to, anytime I'm privileged to listen to her, even just I make a call, I take my paper and my Bible to jot things.
Wow.
Because she always brings out critical things out of me that eventually lead me to become a creative thinker, even in my family.
Mm.
You see, I have listened to her so many times. And my saying I don't have a question, it's not that he has not really hit, he has not really hit the nail on the face, but that she has actually brought out a lot to, she has taught me a lot that I say that I'm not, all these things she has mentioned are not new to me because there are things she has been teaching me over and over again. Yeah. So I want to say that if anybody, for those that are listening to her for the first time, they may have a lot of questions. But some of us, at least I saw in the platform too, that are students like me. And she has actually brought up the better parts of us. So once again, I want to say thank you for this group. Yes, you can group.
Thank you, sir.
Organized forum and have allowed some of us to come out to the limelight to gain. You can imagine what she taught last week together with Professor Aniel Folk Akpabio. They have taught us so much. They have exposed us to a lot of new lines and a new light. In all, I say thank you so much to the Yes You Can platform. May God bless you in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate you. And we thank God that you were able to join us today to listen to Professor Mercy and also Professor Akpabio. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, I think I have a question here quickly from Jala Port. I think, can you mute yourself, sir? Because I think something is coming from there. Okay, that's fine. Now, the question is, ma'am, Professor Mercy Ogbe, you have a question here. Jalan Paul, one of our great leaders on the platform, is asking you a question. Is critical thinking a way you look at your spouse and tell him or her, I am suspecting this, what you are thinking about? Okay.
Well, can I go on?
Yes, yes. Do you want to open your camera, Jalan Paul, if possible? Because this is your question.
Oh, Reverend Jala Paul, it's good to see you here today.
Thank you so much, ma.
Yes. He's one of my students and
Wow.
very
Reverend
intelligent
Jalapol,
student for
what
that
an
matter.
interesting question.
Thank you, ma.
Okay, you're welcome to this platform. Okay, so
Thank
let's
you,
hear the answer.
Yes. With regards to your question, I must say that there's no perfect human being. You, the man, you are not perfect. You, the woman, you are not perfect. But when your partner knows, he can observe you clearly and know when you are happy or you are not happy, or something is going on within you. He is likely, and you see, you make it on. That is why making your observation known through communication is important. You make it known. The word suspecting may not be the right word. I'm suspecting what you are thinking. Well, it depends on how you are using it. If you are suspecting what is thinking as a result of, oh, I can maybe SP what you have in mind, that is something different. But if it is, I'm suspecting you over something negative, it may not be the right word. But if you are saying, okay, see, let me tell you something, Reverend Jella, and anybody listening. Critical thinking demands that you look carefully at your husband or you look carefully at your wife. You should look at him, observe him, and say, I know my husband. I know my wife cannot say that, my husband cannot say that. My wife can never dress that way. Even if you see the person from the back and somebody is saying that is your wife, go and say, no, that can't be my wife. You understand? So what I'm trying to say here, I don't know what you really wanted to say clearly, but if I'm getting you right, it is better you look at your husband from head to toe to know him well. Know the kind of shoes. That is why in some churches or some organizations, they will bring husband and wife, and you say you go your way, the other person answer questions concerning your husband or answer questions concerning your wife. They want to find out how much you know your partner. That is critical thinking. Do you get me clear? So know your wife to the extent to which you can, predict what your wife can say and predict what your husband can say in a particular situation. I don't know whether I answered your question.
You have. Thanks, Prof.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you for answering that question.
Nice to see you again. You look so fresh.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you so much.
I believe there is no more question. Is there any other question? Nope. Okay. I want to appreciate and acknowledge Ambassador Advocate Afolabi Obalola, one of my presidents and also my son. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you. Do you have any question? Any question before we move on? Because we still have another speaker, even though I'm getting ready to leave. But Dr. Samina is still need to share with us today. And unless if she wants to share tomorrow, but we want her to share with us today. There's another question here. If it is a question, what do you advise in this case? Okay, let me read the case. From Emmanuel Charles, a man said to me, even if my wife wants to wear a particular dress, she ends up bringing down the whole wardrobe. And at the end of it, she doesn't rearrange them. For this reason, he forced to separate his room from the wife so he can have a sane rest room. The question now is, what do you advise in this case, Professor Ma?
All right.
From Emmanuel.
Yes. Thank you for your question. Unfortunately, there are women like that. So if you encounter one, it is not to kill. The Bible says, do not kill the smoking flax or the weeds that is already withered, you understand? So you encourage now you've learned about creative thinking, doing it the other way, generating different ideas. I want to tell you something. I grew up in an environment where we didn't have wardrobe in my early years before I got married. And so our mother used to tie one rope in one corner and throw the things there. So, you learn from your own home. And as I got married, I knew this was wrong. I was battling with myself. And in fact, I took it up as a prayer point that God, this is not what it should be. Help me to do the right thing. It was not easy. It took me some time. But today, I think I've gained victory over my failure. So it can be the same for that woman. But now that you've learned, you've known about critical thinking and creative thinking, it so that this situation does not continue. Sending her out of your room will not solve the problem. Has it changed? Has it corrected the issue? No. So sit her down and say, it's possible. I like this term. Yes, you can. You can correct her through transforming that relationship of putting yourself together in one room and putting your clothes together in one room. She can learn. What I'm saying, generate the ideas. Help her. Sometimes before she comes back, do it. Those things she left, do them for her. Put them together. By the time you try it 1, 2, 3, she will get challenged. Teach her some of these skills of critical thinking, asking yourself the questions. I didn't talk much of metacognition. Metacognition is the ability to question your own self, your ability, and all that you are. So if you want to call on us to help maybe teach some of those skills, we can do it. We also run some online programs on critical and creative thinking and the other thinking skills. You can join us and you learn. It will help. Tell your wife to join. It will help her to learn. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Great questions. That is the importance and unique of this kind of masterclass, because it's real life, it's reality. And it's a thing that there are lots of questions being ignored that needs to be answered. And that is why we have prepared this masterclass. Please join us tomorrow. It's going to be hotter. Tomorrow is what? Valentine's Day. So join us tomorrow. Reserve other questions till tomorrow and come and listen to our great leaders, our great speakers that have spoken today, and another person. And I hope you will be blessed. Thank you. Okay, the last one. Let us